Red Parka Mary is a children's picture book written by Peter Ivinson, a professional storyteller, author, and publisher who resides in Clave, Saskatchewan. The illustrator, Rian Brynjolfsson, teaches art workshops and is also an author. She resides in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I feel this book has many powerful messages that even young children can appreciate and learn from. While I might choose to read this story to grade 1 students, I feel it is best suited for grade 2 because of the underlying themes. The reading level is at about grade 2, and the protagonist is also in this age range, which helps students identify with this point of view. Ivenson's words are brought to life by Brynjolfsson's realistic and poignant illustrations. The author and illustrator provide readers with an honest, unbiased view of Aboriginal characters in the story. The story of Red Parka Mary could have been taken from any period in the last 30 to 40 years, based on the illustrations, but the story itself is timeless. Ivinson includes aspects important in Aboriginal and Canadian culture. Some of the enduring attitudes from the Aboriginal culture found in this story are respect for and importance of elders and their stories, gift-giving traditions, traditional ways of hunting and sewing, and caring for the welfare of others, especially elders. Red Parka Mary offers children the opportunity to read literature that shows both traditional and contemporary perspectives of Aboriginal people, which is particularly important because children need to see their own culture represented in the books they read. When literature is culturally relevant, it can be a powerful tool to help students make connections between themes and texts and their own lives. As a Canadian multicultural picture book, Red Parka Mary encourages interpersonal and intrapersonal reflection on differing cultural, ethnic, and generational qualities. Now a little about the story itself. Red Parka Mary is about a young boy and his journey from fearful onlooker to caring companion. The author opens with a compelling scene that suggests something frightening is lurking nearby. Yet as we turn the page, we see what the boy is really anxious about, a harmless elderly woman. The boy describes the elderly neighbor in great detail, from her Montreal Canadiens toque right down to her wool socks and moccasins. Yet, oddly, the boy says, this is not what made me afraid. Someone, somewhere, sometime, told me to be frightened of those brown eyes. As time goes on, the boy continues to keep a watchful eye on the mysterious woman. One day, as he is walking past her shack, the elderly lady yells out, "Mister! Hey, mister!" The boy freezes in fear and apprehension. He has never been called mister before. As he reluctantly turns and looks, the woman offers him a pail full of berries. Instead of running up and taking them, he just stares, not knowing what to do. Until finally the elderly woman brings the pail near. "These to your mother, she'll know what to do with them." Little mister soon discovers that his mother had lent the elderly neighbor some sugar, and Mary was simply repaying her kindness. Maybe Mary wasn't so scary after all. This was the beginning of many after-school visits to Mary's house. During these visits, Mary taught the boy to trap, tan hides, and even sew his own moccasins. Mary also has many stories to share with the boy. As Mary passes on her wealth of knowledge and teaches Mr. valuable skills, the two develop a close friendship. Little Mister decides that he would like to do something special for Mary. On Christmas Eve, the boy rushes over to Mary's house. He is excited to give Mary her new gift, but worries that she might feel uncomfortable because she has nothing to give back. But Mary has a surprise for little Mister. Students will eagerly anticipate with Mister what Mary's best gift ever could be. This becomes even more of a puzzle when Mary pulls out the tiny box. What's inside? How can this be the most valuable kind of gift? What hides inside the box is indeed priceless. The book closes with Mary and Mister embracing as Mister muses. Why did someone, somewhere, sometime, tell me to be frightened of those twinkling brown eyes? There are many themes in this endearing story. They include fear of differences, trust, friendship, identity, respect, aging, and reciprocity. The author deals with intergenerational concerns by looking at aging through both the boy's eyes and Mary's experiences. Mr. and Mary have some things in common, but most importantly, they value each other's friendship. Mr. gives Mary something she can't buy but needs, and Mary reciprocates by giving the boy something priceless he could never buy. This book allows for Aboriginal students to experience a sense of identity through Canadian literature. Through the young boy's journey from fear to love of a sweet elderly woman, students can see how misconceptions about others who are different can cause fear and perhaps lead us to make wrong assumptions. But on the other hand, willingness to challenge those falsehoods shows strength of character. As Mr. became friends with Elder Mary, he began to see the other side, her side of the story. By listening to Mary's stories and spending time learning traditional ways, the boy showed concern for his elder and respect for traditions that were part of his heritage also. I think that students could use a book like Parka Mary to begin critiquing texts. Bainbridge et al. Suggests that teachers help students develop critical literacy skills by using questions to interrogate texts. Questions such as, who wrote this? Why? Who benefits? What voices are being heard? What is the world like for the people in the text? I believe second graders would be able to find positive answers to these questions while scrutinizing this picture book. According to Bainbridge et al., as students ask such questions, they delve into their own assumptions and beliefs about the world. Teachers can springboard from this story to look at comparisons of different culture groups represented in the classroom. They may also have students conduct an inquiry into how things have changed over the decades. For example, how did grandparents live in the past compared to how we live today? What would we have liked about living back then? What would we have found difficult? What were clothes like then? What was school like? Children could interview an elder in their lives, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, a neighbor, or even a parent. Students could give 10 facts about that person's life and how things were different and are the same as theirs today. What things do they have in common? You could plan a field trip to a senior's home where students interact with seniors by singing, playing games, talking, or doing art projects together. This would hopefully promote empathy for others and help reinforce some of the themes in Parka Mary. These types of activities tie in well with the social studies curriculum. Parka Mary is not only a wonderful piece of storytelling, it is a great tool to help students connect with other cultures, perspectives, intergenerational concerns, and help support positive identity associations. The main message is one of seeing beyond the surface, respect for others, and care and concern for our elders.